Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As we're about to title today's video, I'm here to rate all the comp pro-am builds that you guys have sent me for NBA 2K23. So, as you can see, put out a tweet, send me your comp pro-am build in the role below for a Rate My Build series. Any build, any position, just something you play with a legitimate 5-man squad in pro-am. And for those who are feeling a little bit left out in something like this, I will post another tweet eventually for the rec builds, and I'll review them as well. And if you do have a rec center build you'd like to send in, just stay posted. You can feel free to follow the Twitter. I'm not really trying to self-promo plug or anything like that right now, but if you want to check the Twitter out, 100% feel free to. And like I said, if you want to stay posted for the rec builds, you can submit that in probably a couple of days. I'll ask for it. I do like this little Rate My Build series. If you guys do enjoy the Rate My Build series, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff, and like always, tries 1 to 2,000 likes. But we're gonna get underway with this. I ended up liking about 15 or 20 of them. Kind of forget what most of them looked like because I just gazed over it, a little quick look, and I wanted people to maybe explain the way they're gonna play with the build too. So I didn't do a lot of deep diving. I want to look into this with you guys and maybe just live react to the builds and stuff like that too. And I'm not gonna go super deep in with it. I'm not gonna go into the builder myself and replicate the build and review it and like edit it into different ways that I would prefer to have it. We're just gonna look at things and just review them straight up, simple as that. So again, hope you guys enjoy, and we're gonna get straight into this. So first of all, we have Beta Way. He's got a shooting guard slash combo hash lock, aka again just really what everybody plays for shooting guard. You guard wing and you play wing, simple as that. So as you can see, he has 80 driving dunk. However, I will say one thing off rip. He doesn't have quick drops for the limitless takeoff or anything like that on the silver. I mean, he does get quick drops, but obviously, again, not the limitless takeoff. And also, the vertical rating is a bit high. 75 when you don't actually have pro contact dunks is a little bit high in my opinion. I think it would definitely be more ideal to put that vertical rating down to 60 and up that into certain areas of your build that are more maybe finishing badge related. Because again, that limitless takeoff not being on silver definitely hurts. 23 shooting badges is pretty good. 24 would get you 3 tier 3s though, and in which case you do want that obviously blinders, limitless, and agent 3 as well. So 24 might be necessary for that count as well. If you have an extra badge point you want to spend on that, that'd be good too. I don't know personally how I feel about 75 pass accuracy anymore. I have 78 on my build and I'm running a little bit of 5 out lately, and it is possible to make those passes, but it does feel a little bit limiting in comparison to the 86. And I know at that point then you guys are like, well, where's he going to take away from the build? You just said he couldn't take away any shooting, you couldn't take away any finishing because he actually needs more finishing, and obviously we don't want to go below 75 ball, like spew a ball. We obviously want the 89 ball handle as well for the Hall of Fame quick first step. I do think just in general being a 6'3" is a little bit troll. I've been advocating a little bit on the comp pro-am stuff to go with the 6'1" shooting guards that for whatever reason just get more attribute points, simple as that. And what a lot of people argue the reason to be 6'3" is just be bigger wingspan, all types of stuff like that. Even just the standing dunk is actually possible to upgrade. I personally don't think it matters that much, and this build doesn't even have standing dunk either. So I truly do believe if he just went 6'1", it'd be way more simple to just add things like acceleration, maybe some more pass accuracy as well, obviously the finishing that he needs on this build too. And it's just so dumb. I mean, the fact that 6'1s just get more attribute caps than the 6'3s is really just broken, but that's just the truth. The 99 steal though, it is pretty solid. I think the 21 defensive badges is enough if I recall correctly. I mean, obviously with this build, he's going to be running glove and interceptor and core one of them and then run the other. So he can't really afford to run challenger or clamps, but as you can see, the level of perimeter is not really high enough to even do so anyway. So it kind of is what it is. The build's a steal machine. It's a spot up on the hash, and you're not really meant to play elite regular defense. You're just there to get steals. So it's understandable, but I don't know if this is exactly the best shooting guard build by any means. All right, so now we got my boy Waff6 right here. I don't really know how you pronounce this or anything like that, but I see him respond on all types of comments on the YouTube videos or just in general is under the tweets and stuff too. So shout out to him. I'm not going to be reviewing this build though because I don't want to review the ones that are put in this loadout. I want to see the badge counts and stuff like that, and just in general the builder screenshots like this one. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be reviewing this one right here, but shout out to him for always being a consistent viewer. All right, so now from Vonnie right here, we got 2 different builds. One's a shooting guard, one's a power forward. So we're going to do a quick little review on this. We're not going to spend too much time because he has 2 builds, but as you can see, same thing as far as the last build we just looked at. 89 ball handle, 75 plus pass, speed with ball, obviously, and then the 75 pass accuracy too. But the speed with ball for the MJ dribble style. He has 85 steal for silver glove and ends up with less acceleration, less speed. Really tough. But he has a 99 three-pointer and a 6'2" shooting guard. Now, this is the same thing I was just talking about. I would really prefer if you were to just make a 6'1" at that point. You get so many more attribute caps for endless amounts of extra points, yet it's only 1 inch difference of height. I really do think it's extremely important to go with that type of change, and you guys have seen different videos if you've like been paying attention to the channel or anything like that. But if you want to check it out, just try and make the exact same build as what you are looking at right here as a shooting guard 6'2 or 6'3 and then just recreate it as a 6'1 and give it all the same exact attribute ratings, and you're going to notice there are endless amounts of extra ratings to be put. And I really do think that would overcome the things like speed and excel being really bad. Obviously, we could add certain things like maybe even more pass hack, or again, the finishing badge is enough to get limitless takeoff. We got to get those, fellas. You definitely have to get the limitless takeoff, especially if you're going to go with the 86 driving dunk. Now, to be fair, he has a badge count where he could just put 3 extra and he's able to get the 17, obviously. So kind of just is what it is. But moving along into the power forward build that he has as well. 99 block Hall of Fame anchor, 90 steal for the gold interceptor. It's actually very similar, if not almost the exact same thing as what IQ's build is. It's just less offense, a little bit more defense. So IQ's build that we play in the Comp Pro Am stuff with has the exact same O board, the exact same steal, prim D, interior defense, stuff like that, but it has 94 D board, 93 block for the gold anchor, and then gold rebound chaser and Hall of Fame box out beast. But this one's going to Hall of Fame on rebound chaser and anchor. That's pretty fire. I actually do like that idea. He's also able to get 80 vertical, 81 speed as well. The stamina good. The finishing badge count again is pretty low, but at the end of the day, it doesn't quite as much matter on these 6'9s because as we all know at this point, they're so broken with limitless takeoff being tier 2 instead of tier 3. So in case anybody's late on that type of information, obviously you cannot apply limitless takeoff for only 5 points, quote unquote, or if it was a golden tier 3, it'd be like 7 points or something like that. Even if it were a tier 3, you can't apply 7 points if you only have 12. You would need 17, obviously, and that's what we're just looking at with this build right here, where it is tier 3 and it is gold, and you need 17 points to be able to activate it. Whereas, again, these 6'9s, limitless takeoff is tier 2, so you don't even need to apply those extra 10 points between tier 1 and tier 2, then get limitless takeoff. You can count that as part of your tier 1, tier 2 points, and boom, that's just the solution to it. And you even get slithery in tier 1 as well, so that's why just in general the 6'9s are pretty easy to put this type of stuff together. You get 86 dunk, slap limitless takeoff and slithery on it, and call it a day. So that's all you really need to do with this. So it's plenty fine. It is lacking a little bit of finishing as far as like the close shot and stuff goes, but honestly at this rate, I think standing dunk, driving dunk is all you really need or want from the power forward anyway. And then also pretty solid shooting. It's pretty standard as to what you would get on a 6'9 max wingspan, obviously, because again, you have to get that 90 steal and then 76 pass act for the gold break starter. It's a good build overall. I think it's actually just exactly what you need, and this is actually a really good one. I will say the strength is pretty low, but I would prefer to have things like block and D-board anyway over the strength regardless. I don't think it's that important for the sake of boxing out, especially if you have Hall of Fame rebound chaser and box out beast for that matter too. Alright, so now we got Dennis's build right here. I sit hash and secondary ball handler. I play with a 5 out, so I guard corner most times. So as far as guarding corner goes, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it does get the gold interceptor. It has enough badge points to do so. I'm curious if he runs glove or not, if he guards corner, because if you were to guard corner, I would almost even argue you could just not run glove and run challenger instead. It's hard to say though, man. Honestly, like it really is, because you could obviously core interceptor. That's the 100% guarantee. And from that point, you either choose between challenger or glove. And that's when things become a little difficult here. You're not going to run pick dodge or anything like that. You don't really need menace if you're guarding corner either. So things like box out beast, and that's about it really is necessary as far as like everything else goes. So it's kind of up to that as far as that goes. But anyway, perimeter D, 83, 90 steal. I would actually argue this should probably be like playing wing defense, in my opinion. And then, yeah, you probably could run like, say for instance, one of the two between interceptor and glove, or interceptor challenger still. And I guess the thing that's holding it back from playing wing defense is maybe the badge count just in general of only 19, but the ratings itself are plenty fine to play that wing defense with 90 steal and 83 prim D. But he did say he plays the 5 out offense, so it's likely that there's like a whole pure offensive build or something like that that's playing wing D already, so it's hard to say. But anyway, another pretty interesting set of badges here and just like animations and like ratings. So obviously the 92 ball handle is actually just for this like Steph Curry size up escape, I'm assuming, and also to be able to get the Trae Young. But either way, I don't know if there's anything else that's really niche as far as hitting 92 ball handle, so that's what I'm assuming he went for it with, is just to get that Curry escape, which is cool at the end of the day. And then also enough speed with ball, once again, pass act, a very consistent 75 throughout all our viewers so far, and 92 three-pointer. He's a little bit short of mini magician Hall of Fame, but I'm sure he doesn't care about that too much. 88 driving dunk. He actually gets the MJ dunks with this too, and I'm not sure if he shot for that, and that's why he went 88. He does get 17 finishing badges, once again, which gets limitless takeoff. So pretty standard, pretty simple. And it's pretty simple as far as what we've been looking at for most shooting guard builds throughout this video. I will say, though, he is missing 75 vertical. So he can get contact dunks off too. like pro contacts off 2 with a 70 vert, but with 75 he could get the pro contacts off 1. But I'm guessing he's okay with that, and he was like really irritated with the amount of penny pinching he was doing on the build and stuff like that already. Probably was sacrificing a couple ratings that he wanted. The standing dunk is an interesting addition to the shooting guard as well. 67 is pretty lethal, so I'm assuming with that 5 out you can really utilize this off the wing even still, and that is a pretty cool little addition, to be honest with you guys. So overall, pretty solid build, to be honest with you. It's probably one of the better 6'3s I've seen so far. I don't love the speed, to be honest with you, and I don't love the fact that it doesn't have just 5 more vert. I also don't love the stamina either. So physicals is kind of where I'm hurting on this build a little bit. But as far as the defense, playmaking, shooting, and finishing goes, it's a pretty good spread. Alright, so now we have a really interesting build from D-Rose right here. So, made this in Season 2 for Comp Pro-Am. I play as the second guard in my mid-range, easily dominate most of the 3-2 zone teams, even though I think they kind of just more play man matchups and like kind of switch, but either way. Even 25% contested mid-range are consistent. I use those step backs and spin shots like a true shot creator, probably with space creator I'm assuming. No need to explain how efficient the 99 steal is. So you can see, I really thought this build was so intriguing and interesting. And as you can see, the fact that he goes 6'1" just allows for things like this to happen. Also, sorry the screenshot's a little bit blurry. It's just how some screenshots went in. I also limited the amount of ones I was liking just based off the screenshot quality. So if you guys ever want to be in these videos, make sure that the screenshots are not something you took off your phone on your TV, because I'm not putting that on video, to be honest with you. So it just is what it is. Anyway, 99 steal, 95 ball handle, and 85 3-pointer for Silver Limitless, plus 94 mid-range, like he said. That is pretty fire. Now, the no dunk is a really interesting aspect of the build, and that is what makes this work, to be honest with you. I mean, if he thinks his mid-range game is that lethal and he never ever goes near the paint and probably plays an inside big for that matter too, this is a pretty good synergy that could go along with an inside big really good. I mean, to be honest with you, that mid-range game can kill if that's what you look for. And again, the 95 ball handle for the Hall of Fame Unpluckable. Obviously, he still gets quick first step on Hall of Fame 2, Hyperdrive, and obviously the gold handles for days at 94. Pass act being 75, once again, a lot of you guys just constantly go with the 75 pass act, which I won't even hate on either. It's actually pretty consistent for that matter. It's pretty underrated. But 99 steal, I'm assuming he plays wing D with this. I'm assuming he wouldn't go corner D with a build like this. To me, 99 steal belongs on the wing on defense. So I'm curious as to whether he plays as a shooting guard or a point guard. I don't think he said that or anything like that either. I mean, he didn't really say what his like role was as far as like the 1 or the 2 goes. I'm assuming this plays like a point, but guards the wing like a shooting guard would. So it's a cool little interesting build that can be two-way. And again, because he's lacking the finishing, he can really add that aspect of his game to the mid-range, so doesn't even need to have the finishing, and it actually allows him to be more two-way for that matter too, because then he can afford to end up with more defense as well with the 99 steal. So I do like this build. It's very original, very interesting. Obviously, as the Hall of Fame Mini Magician, the thing is that like you don't need a lot of mid-range to get those badges. Like the Hall of Fame Mini Magician's 81 mid, and then same with Space Creators, even lower than that, I think. And you can even get Space Creator with your 3-point rating too. But as you can see, one addition to this that is pretty crazy, you get Hall of Fame blinders too. That's pretty nuts, to be honest with you, to not have to go like 97 3-pointer for or anything like that. You can just go 94 mid-range. That's pretty cool, man. I'm gonna be real with you. That is pretty fire. Obviously, it has its deficiencies. I mean, like being 6'1" and just like horrible interior defense, we all know that's a pretty typical thing. Same with the strength is low. The vertical being 49 is definitely going to be something that you never want to touch your Y button. Simple as that. But that's fine. I mean, if he just plays strictly perimeter defense, and he can always have a back end helping him in the paint, and he can just be really good on the front side of screens, simple as that, I think it's actually a pretty solid build, to be honest with you. I know it looks like it's troll, but I really do think this actually could be pretty fire. Alright, so next up we got WPK right here. He actually has a build that's very similar to the new one AK is thinking about making. Now this whole Joel Embiid name, it's not very similar to what AK is making, obviously. This is funny. It's so funny to see this at 6'1", 169 pounds. That's hilarious. But anyway, 94 excel, 79 speed. I do wish to hit that 80 speed threshold, but honestly with this build it's playing no defense anyway, so the speed isn't really that much of a big deal anyway. I do wish that he went with that 70 vertical. It would make it way better. Just 3 vertical higher to be able to get the like pro contacts off too. That goes a long way in my opinion, and I think you can even take the close shot down too. I don't think this is the max or like the one that you need. Maybe you put it up for finishing badge reasons, but either way, obviously you can get limitless takeoff on gold. He gets the good dunks as well with the 86, but the problem is, again, you can't get the pro contact without at least 70 vertical, and it would even be preferred to have 75. But either way, the similarities of what AK is going to go with is the fact that it has no defense and it has 97 3-pointer, Hall of Fame blinders, Hall of Fame Agent 3 as well. It is only gold limitless. I will say I think that Hall of Fame limitless is built different. I've been seeing Apollo playing with this build too. I'll have some Pro-Am gameplay for you guys pretty soon as well with that 5-out team. But anyway, it's a pretty solid build. The whole no defense thing is very difficult to play with though. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen when we play against teams that are with it as well. I mean, the lack of lanes that guards get is pretty frustrating, and it can definitely lead to your team getting an extra like 10 to 12 points scored on you in a game that would not have been scored on in the first place. So I'm not a huge fan of the no defense stuff, but if it's in the right hands, it can be okay. But again, would like for that vertical to be at least 3 higher. That's about all the requirements I would have on that build though. It's pretty decent overall, nothing super crazy. All right, next up we got G right here. As you can see, pass first point guard. This is an interesting build for sure. I remember seeing this a little bit. So it's 85 thresholds and a lot of different things. So we have like the 86 prim D. We got, for instance, the 89 ball handle with the Hall of Fame quick first step. The 85, 86 pass accuracy thresholds as well. We got the 85 three-pointer, 85 dunk. I do wish this dunk was 1 higher at the 86. I don't know if the layup is necessary at 85 either, for that matter. I think he's just rounding off a certain couple of ratings and stuff. Not to mention, I just in general don't like the 6'8s. To be honest with you, I definitely prefer the 6'9s for the sake of the badge tiering, because just that alone, of you deciding to be 6'9 instead of 6'8, allows you to get poster, slithery, and limitless instead of only getting limitless. And I guess you could core like one of the other two as well, but if you want to run the double shooting core or anything like that, you'd obviously have to ditch one of these because it would just go no finishing. But it's hard to say, man. Either way, even if you could core one, you're not going to be able to run poster. You're only going to be able to run limitless, slithery, and like just fearless finisher and probably giant slayer. Simple as that. The badge count is good on playmaking though. 24 is pretty solid. 19 shooting with 85 three-pointer. I don't know what the build's role is. I don't know if it's exactly like a 5-out like PG or what it is. I guess at the end of the day, he did call it a point guard, so maybe it is more for like a 5-out point guard, and it is kind of a 2-way as well. Most people's 5-out point guards, if they do play like that, or even 5-out shooting guards, don't have very much defense at all, to be honest with you. So this is a pretty cool look right here. It has quite a bit less finishing than a normal 5-out build would, and also doesn't have significant amount of shooting either. So it's a little bit of a tough situation, but it is plenty. Also the 40 standing dunk, shout out to the fact that he knows it can get him some standing dunk packages. It's a pretty cool little addition for how cheap it is, and I like that as well. 70 rebounding, interesting. I mean, it's enough to like secure you a board every now and then, I guess. I think it's more of a park thing to have 70 though, in my personal opinion. 83 block, also kind of iffy, whatever. It's pretty cool to have though. And then 90 steal, gold interceptor, 86 prim D for like all the extra defensive badges you get between things like ankle braces and clamps and challenger, all at a higher level, stuff like that. Good excel, good speed, good stamina. The vert 75, it is what it is. I mean, obviously he wants the pro contact dunks, and low key the fact that he went 85 driving dunk says to me he probably wanted posterizer instead of slithery, and I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. So yeah, overall my rating on this, I'm not a huge fan of builds that are like this to be 6'8", but some people are much bigger fans because they obviously like that 89 ball handle for the Hall of Fame quick first step, not to mention the Kobe size up package as well, so it is pretty nice to have. Now this right here is my favorite one of everything I was sent in. So as you can see, secondary right here, he sent in 6'7" back end. Now this to me, and as you guys know what the term back end means, power forward. 6'7" power forward. They're always 6'9" plus. I've never seen a team come out here with 2 6'7s in the pick and roll defense, and it'd be so cool to see. But as you can see, he has 76 pass accuracy, 83 pointer, a little bit below his maximum. Also, I don't really like that aspect of it, and it is pretty tough, man, because there's a lot of defensive investment in here. I don't know if the O board should be this high. I think if you took this down, it'd be really convenient, and then you'd be able to run things like, obviously, like some extra finishing badges. Maybe they just don't plan to cut him very often, though. Obviously, limitless takeoff isn't that big a deal if all he's doing is just constantly just, like, dunking the ball below the basket, I suppose. But he doesn't have 40 standing dunk either, 45 for that matter, and I don't know. It's kind of tough offensively. But defensively, this is a really cool different concept. I mean, the fact that he has 92 prim D, gold clamps, gold challenger, stuff like that. 99 steal for the Hall of Fame interceptor, Hall of Fame glove. They could probably play sides on stuff like this too. He has silver anchor and then 82 interior defense too, with 99 defensive rebound and Hall of Fame rebound chaser, Hall of Fame box out beast, while still having 86 speed. I love this idea. It's a cool thing. 85 vertical is a really cool thing as well. But I do think taking away from some aspects of the build into putting it a little bit more offensive could be a good idea. But it just depends on who's guarding who. At the end of the day, 2 people have to guard a corner, because obviously if you're playing a 4-out 1-in regular pick and roll scheme, it's going to be 2 corners, a wing, and then your pick and roll. So your 2 corners are likely both these 6'7" pure locks that you'd likely play with. And honestly, if centers are going to be the one guarding you and you're playing like the 4, quote unquote, they're probably going to stick a center on you, and at that point your finishing doesn't matter quite as much. You're not going to be cutting very much. But with that in mind too, I don't know if your offensive rebound rating needs to be so high either. Because I think the purpose of the O-board rating being high is to dominate smaller guards as far as like enforcing your will on one of them essentially. And I don't know if this really provides that, to be honest with you. Not to mention I would prefer if the like shooting was a little bit higher as well. Catch and shoot is tier 2 on this build though, so I guess it's kind of whatever. It doesn't really need to be like super high because obviously you can still get it into tier 2. Can't run blinders or anything, but oh well, it's not that big a deal. Actually, you could even put one extra shooting badge on and then you could just run blinders anyway, so I guess that kind of makes up for that. But again, pretty cool defensive aspect. I just wish the offense was a tad bit better. All right, next up we have Koza's shooting guard build right here. Shout out to Koza, really cool content creator. I love his stuff and he's a cool dude as well. But 6'3", 86 driving dunk. So again, pretty standard as to what we've been looking at. I think if you went one higher on the layup, he could get fearless finisher on silver. So that is one thing I would knock it as well. I do like that badge a lot on a build that's like this where you'd be going in for those dunks pretty often. 92 three-pointer, 24 shooting badges is enough for obviously the 3 tier 3s. So that's pretty cool as well. Obviously we have pretty like, you know, rational cutoffs. The 89 plus ball handle for the Hall of Fame quick first step. We've been looking at a lot of builds like this today, to be honest. So I mean, a little bit more than the 75 pass act, but obviously 75 speed of ball for the dribble style. 90-ish steal as well. Probably went for some badge points here between like the Prim D and the steal as well. I do believe if he went one more perimeter defense, he could get silver challenge or 2, and he's planning to play like a shooting guard. So if you're playing the wing defense, it is kind of nice to have, but I'm assuming his plan is to just core interceptor, run glove. If you put a couple extra defensive badges on though, I think you could run all 3 between glove, interceptor, and challenger. So I think that'd be fine. And like, I just do think if the Prim D was one higher, it'd be a good idea. 90 excel, plenty good, I think, for a shooting guard, and then 75 vertical again for the pro contacts off 1 and 2, like that, and the good stamina as well. So again, we've been looking at a lot of shooting guard builds. I just figured I'd go over this one quickly, but decent build overall. I do like the idea of it, just would like that extra Prim D and then maybe some extra defensive badges as far as like being able to play legitimate wing defense. All right, so this is an interesting build to an extent. So as you guys saw in yesterday's video, I was talking about the 7-2s. Now, I was also saying it's pretty rare that you can get a 7-2 anything to do with like playmaking takeover, but he says it gets play take. So as you can see, guards, corner, screen setter. I mean, it's a pretty simple, basic way of doing things. Also, the fact that it's an inside probably allows the fact for you to get the play take because you're going to be able to get that pass accuracy higher. The ball handle and speed with ball to even afford this type of stuff is really very necessary that you don't have shooting because it's going to be so hard to afford any like decent defensive stuff. So as you can see, we got 94 offensive rebound for the gold rebound chaser, Hall of Fame box out beast, gold anchor. You got everything as far as the maxed out Prim D and steal. Good speed for a 7-2. I do think this is pretty solid. Same with obviously the vertical is really high. So he went with a low weight 7-2 rather than the 99 offensive rebound 7-2s. And as you can see, 84 driving dunk for the pro contacts. He also gets the slithery limitless takeoff on silver, stuff like that. I do believe he could have gone a bit higher on the driving dunk too and probably got like gold limitless takeoff and silver posterizer on this. I would have liked for that personally, but I think the plan with this 24 finishing badge count is to get all 3 of these tier 3s between masher, rise up, and fast twitch and coring one of them. So it's hard to say. I'm guessing he doesn't plan to run poster anyway. He could just run like slithery limitless and something between like fearless finisher probably after that. So it's a pretty good look. 90 close shot as well is a pretty good idea. I will say though, after this patch, these tall bigs are looking really tough. And I did mention that these 7-2 insides are looking real tough to use. But I do like the fact that he's a little bit faster with it than most 7-2s are, and the fact that his play take is a really good addition to his team. It's going to help, obviously, the guards a tremendous amount, and same with locks getting their takeover as well. Good vert, solid stam. The strength being 73 is a little bit suspect. We would like to get that silver brick wall, but at the end of the day, if speed matters more to him, it's understandable. But yeah, overall, I do like the build. It's kind of niche and interesting. I just don't know if it's exactly my favorite type of build. But shout out to Jerry for the build submission. Next up, we have Girl Gone Wild. She actually plays like competitive pro-am. It's pretty cool to see, to be honest with you. So, as you can see, my 6'6 lock and 6'1 point guards. These are my pro-am builds. So, for the 6'6 lock, we obviously have pretty standard stuff. I mean, we got the decent finishing badge count. Probably add one extra finishing badge for clearly like the 16. Now, what's cool about 85 three-pointer is that it allows you to have limitless on silver. But being a corner spot up and lock, it's not very likely. It is a cool little addition as an idea, just for the fact that you could flare up out the corner a little bit, and maybe you could like send someone down or something like that. Either way, it's not likely. But I guess I'm just getting at the fact that it has 18, so it's able to get blinders. It's probably going to be catch and shoot, green machine, and claymore. Simple as that. So all of those badges included. Everything else for a lockdown is pretty standard, but the fact that its acceleration is super high is pretty interesting. This would be valuable if you're a little bit more of a quote-unquote drag lock where you can catch it out the corner and do a lot of stuff with, which for that matter, if you do maybe even run Agent 3s or like can really do your thing with a driving dunk as well, the fact that you have the acceleration is pretty nice. If you don't add a lot of aspect to the offense though, I would think that this is a little bit overkill on acceleration and maybe more things like, let's say, vertical or maybe defensive rebound, or maybe even just the ability to drag, like maybe more ball handle would be kind of nice, or just extra finishing badges to not have to put extra on for limitless takeoff. It probably would be nice, but either way, very standard lockdown-esque stuff right here with a 97 prim, 99 steal, and the Hall of Fame on all of these between clamps, challenger, glove, interceptor, etc., etc. Good speed as well, and then also solid stamp. So I do like the build. And then also the second build, let's see, it was a 6'1". Is this meant to be a shooting guard or point guard? Okay, so PG is definitely interesting. I mean, I don't know exactly where the plan is to play it on corner or wing defense. It'd probably be okay to like mediocre on both, to be honest. I would expect maybe corner D, because obviously the perimeter defense is pretty mediocre to bad, so to say. So I'm assuming the plan here with the 16 defensive badges to run glove and interceptor, core one of them, run the other, simple as that, then run some other things that maybe help you play corner D, simple as that. 92 acceleration, pretty good. I do like that. 75 vert paired with the 86 driving dunk for the golden limitless takeoff, poster, and like the pro contacts and stuff like that too. And also the fact that it has 20 finishing is pretty cool, for the sake of if you add a couple more, you could actually run limitless takeoff, poster, and slithery. So that'd be pretty cool as well. And then I think what stands out the most on this build is the fact that its pass accuracy is 92. So this is Hall of Fame needle threader. Also, I think it's only, yeah, gold bailout. I think you have to be on some OD crazy stuff to get Hall of Fame bailout, but either way, Hall of Fame dimer, Hall of Fame needle threader. It's a pretty cool little idea. I don't know how comp 92 pass accuracy is. I've never really seen it in action that much, but it does seem like a pretty solid aspect to the build. And overall, it's not missing that much. I mean, it is missing probably elite levels of ball handling and elite levels of shooting. Most point guards do come out here with 92 three-pointer though, so it's pretty standard. I will say I've come around recently to the idea of the 97 or 99 three-pointer builds at 6'1". I think they can be pretty elite as well, but overall, good finishing badge count, good shooting badge count, really good playmaking badge count, and just in general playmaking badge spread. It's just the fact that you only get silver handles for days, gold clamp breaker, and gold unpluckable. That is probably the only big knock to this build. I don't think the low defense is that big a deal. I don't think anything to do with the shooting or like finishing is bad at all. I just think the lack of ball handle being at an elite level does kind of hurt, but at the end of the day, if you can get by with 92, I think it's still plenty good for you. It's just kind of based on your style. I don't like the 92 stamina personally. I'm just kind of a hater of going low on stamina, especially on point guard builds, but it is what it is. 92 Excel, still pretty good, so I think overall it's a pretty solid build. Alright, so that is all our submissions for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, tell them noties, all that good stuff, and like always, try to win 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put build in the comments to show supports me all the way through, or put rate in the comments to show supports me all the way through. But like I said, if you want to put in a submission as well for the next one for Rec Center builds, feel free to follow me on Twitter. You can tune into that as well. And again, feel free to check out any other Rate My Builds that we do on YouTube too. So on that, hope you all enjoyed, and take it easy, man. Peace.